Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the regular City Council Prescott meeting to order. It is Monday, February 23rd at 6 o'clock. Do roll call. Mike?
Here.
Maureen?
Here.
Ben?
Here.
Lindsay?
Here.
Doris excused. Haven't heard from Adam. Would everybody please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, everyone. Next item on the agenda is public comments. Council will receive public comments on any issue related to the agenda. Limited discussion by the council may take place. Okay, hearing none. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The City Council minutes from February 9th, Parks and Public Works Committee minutes from February 16th, Health and Safety Committee minutes from February 18th, special event permit application from the Klecker Family Reunion at Freedom Park Pavilion on July 18th, and approval of a grant agreement with the State of Wisconsin Department of Health Services and the City of Prescott for $5,733 for oral health program.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda 1 through 5.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next item is reports of standing committees and commissions. Nothing for Finance, Planning Commission, next meeting, Monday, March 2nd at 6 o'clock. Parks and Public Work Committee report. Lindsay?
Yeah, so we talked about the lift stations in town and talked about how they're all pretty outdated. And then we did ask them to come up with a second quote because we did review a quote for replacing one of them. We talked about the Adopt a Tree program, which is on the agenda tonight. We also talked about a list of improvements or repairs to the Freedom Park. So we have a plan going forward of just doing things as is, and then we also do have on tonight the agenda for the stonework that we approved. And then we talked about a modification to city code, which is also on the agenda.
Okay, thank you. Next meeting for Parks and Public Works is Monday, March 16th at 5 o'clock. Health and Safety Committee report. Matt?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So we met last Wednesday to discuss the issuance of our 2 open Class B liquor licenses. I think I'll actually save this because it's number 3 on the agenda. That was the only item on the committee's report, so I'll just present the discussions and findings when we get to that part in the meeting.
Thank you. Next Health and Safety Committee will be to be determined. Personnel, next meeting Wednesday, February 25th at 5 o'clock. Next item is communications and new business. Public comments. City Council received public comments on any issue related to the agenda items. Not related to the agenda items. Limited discussion by the council may take place. However, no action will be taken on any items. This includes receiving a written request or documentation and possible action at a future meeting.
Mayor, can we ask the Boy Scouts to introduce themselves and why they're here?
Sure, you could do that. They probably don't want to do that, but
I know.
I'll do it on their behalf. Yeah, you have to come up to the podium and.
So Eric Krieger, I'm the Scoutmaster of the troop here, chartered by United Church of Christ. And, whoops, don't want to get ahead of our presentation, sorry. The boys are here, the troop's here tonight. Should say we have one lone female scout in the ranks now. But the troop is here tonight to learn about city government and what the city council does. And so hopefully they'll glean some nuggets of wisdom from you fine folks tonight.
It's okay. Thank you. Any other public comment? If not, the next item is presentation on Public Library Annual Report. Carissa?
So we just got done with our annual or yearly report, so I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update on what we did in 2025 and just some highlights from that. So if you look at this, it's just kind of a snapshot. So we saw a 10% increase in the number of digital items checked out and a slight less than a % decrease in our physical items, but it kind of fluctuates each year. So we had 265 new card holders, so we're up to 2,321 right now. The biggest one that we saw an increase in was our program attendance. I'd also look at this as engagements or interactions with people at school or kids at school or daycares too. So it's on-site and off-site throughout the year. So we had a 75% increase because we were doing a lot more outreach with the schools and daycares and other places around town. And so just a little under 500 of those events and programs that we did. And that was the Raptor Center, Minnesota Raptor Center that came, is that picture that's up there. It's hard to see, but he's holding a hawk. We saw a 4% increase in the visitors that came in, and they're coming in for multiple things, not just checking out for services like computers or Wi-Fi or studying, getting tax forms, using the meeting room, coming for programs. So, so we'll was a bigger of a jump from 2023 to 2024, but still a slight increase for last year. This is just some of our other numbers that we had. So you'll see questions answered. Those are just reference transaction, as we call them. So those are just questions specifically to research questions or things we have to look up or help them with. It's not including, like, can you help me find this book or help me print this, which would probably double or triple those numbers. Public computer and Wi-Fi uses is that dark bar there. Went down a little bit. Again, that fluctuates depending on the year. And then the last three bars are the programs. So you'll see in 2025 a jump there for in-person, off-site, and self-directed activities. This year we were able to add a bunch of items to our library of things. So apart from movies and DVDs, we also have these things to check out. So we did museum passes, we had some kits, and we had some other items that were kind of in our cabinets that we decided to put out so people could use them. So like our puppet kits, wood burning kits, that red box in the corner, those have been popular. Those are called Tony boxes. And the kids have been really liking those and all the figures you can check out with them. So we're trying to add things as much as we can when we can for people to check out. So of those, a little less than 500 programs, I just pulled out a few to show you some pictures. In midsummer, we had an event. We had like bounce house, so we were supposed to have it for the kickoff, but since it rained, we moved it to just midsummer. So we had a good group of people come for that. We just had a bunch of outdoor bubbles and chalk and the big jump house for them to jump in after story time. We also had best-selling author P.J. Tracy come this year, and the school let us use their auditorium for that. We collaborated with Ellsworth Public Library to have her, so we split the costs on that. And we want to continue with that collaboration with them moving forward so we can bring in some more authors. And then the last one there is an antique appraisal with Mark Moran. He used to come years ago, but then he retired. But he came back, and so we had him last year, and we had little over 50 appraisals come in and do that, so we're going to have him again this spring. Another highlight we were able to do, we received an IMLS grant to hire a teen for the summer. So she came in, and there were two big components to her internship, and that was kind of seeing the library as a whole, so like shadowing all of us and learning, the ins and outs. And then she had to do a project of her own, so she wanted to work with kids, so she did crafts and story times and that with the kids at the daycares. So earlier I mentioned that we had our numbers jumped because of a lot of the outreach we were doing, so this is some of that outreach. Story times at the daycares, lunchtime visits with the middle schoolers. We work with Freedom Park a lot, doing reading with a ranger. We did a butterfly migration, so the kids got to release butterflies we raised. And then just being at the community events like Prescott Days and the Homecoming Tailgate Carnival at the school. And then we also collaborated, we always collaborate with Community Ed on some of the continuing programs that they do. Family Resource Center, Wisconsin Credit Union came in and read to the kids during Financial Literacy Month, and they're going to do that again this year. Bonita Acres Farms did a bee story time. We have Ugly Dog Therapy come in, and then virtual scientists for our homeschooling group. So looking forward to this year. Coming up is our summer kickoff, so kind of getting that planned and ready to go. Like I said, collaborating with Ellsworth Public Library to do more author visits, and then just continuing to expand our outreach to reach the schools and daycares more. So, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I really think the library is really doing well for our community, and thank you.
Yeah.
Tell all your employees that we really appreciate it.
I will. Thank you.
Excellent job.
Especially the increase with the outreach stuff,
I
in
know.
person and off-site, that, huge impact to the community, so.
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys loaned out power tools, so if I need something. I saw the sander on there, I was like, all right.
Yeah, so someone donated that, so we're like, let's add it. So, yeah.
Great work.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is approval of recommendation from the Health and Safety Committee for the issuance of the city's regular Class B liquor license to the Prescott Roadhouse and the city's reserve Class B liquor license to Point St. Croix Marina, subject to public notice and acceptance by both businesses. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. So the city of Prescott, we have two open Class B liquor licenses. So Class B are the licenses that are on site, so restaurants, hotels, things of that nature. One of them has been open long-term because we've been holding on to it for the Steamboat Inn property that ultimately has not developed and has been, I think, now vacant since 2007, I believe. And the other one was we received a new one for every time we get an increase of 500 people through the state of Wisconsin state statutes, we get a new Class B liquor license. So this one just came about in 2024 with our recent increase. We're not that far away due to the growth we're seeing in the community to another one, which will probably be in the next couple of years, 2 to 3 years, if we keep growing the way that we are. So we got approval for the City Health and Safety Committee and the council both approved us going out for notice to let people apply for the 2 open licenses that we do have. We ultimately received 3 applications. One was for the Corner Italian Bar at Orange Street, or I should say Corner Italian Restaurant at Orange Street and Broad. The other one was for Point St. Croix Marina off the McGee or Merckard Mill parking lot, and then Prescott Roadhouse as well. So the Health and Safety Committee met this last, or I should say, let me back up. Because of the way the state statutes work, we actually have two different kinds of Class B liquor licenses. There's those that were issued before 1997, and those are not reserve, what am I? Regular licenses, regular Class B licenses, and then those that are issued after 1997, which are reserve Class B liquor licenses, and those are $10,000. So there's quite a difference between the way the state has us, and those are minimum amounts. The $501 is set, you can't change that one. The $10,001 is the minimum that we have to charge for the license. So with that, the Health Safety Committee met and reviewed the three applicants this past Wednesday, last week. And based on the scoring, they are recommending that we move forward with the Class B liquor license, the regular Class B liquor license of $500 to Prescott Roadhouse, and then the reserve Class B liquor licenses for $10,000 to Point St. Croix Marina. So this is just the recommendation that is being brought forward to you for approval. If you approve it tonight, then we will contact both businesses, let them know that they've been the recommendation for one of the licenses, get their approval, get their submission of their fee for the license. Then we'll run the Class 1 notice within the paper and move forward. So then at a later date, if they both accept the licenses, those official approvals will probably be brought in about a month. The second meeting in March, I think, is when we bring them. Although if we can get the notice in quicker, we'll bring them to your next meeting for approval. So with that, I'll turn it over to council for comments and questions.
The scoring sheets that were developed were very helpful, and they were, the businesses were all very close in scores, but there were some obvious differences. And so I thought it was a very fair process that we used.
Okay, if there's no other comments, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the recommendation for the regular Class B liquor license to Prescott Roadhouse and the reserved Class B liquor license to Point St. Croix Marina, subject to public notice and acceptance by both businesses.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve recommendation for Prescott Roadhouse and St. Croix Marina to receive Class B liquor license. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thanks. And thanks to the Health and Safety Committee for doing that, putting that together. I think you guys did a good job. Next item on the agenda is a resolution 10-26, approving stonework repairs at Freedom Park by Luke Busker Masonry. That?
Thank you, Mayor. So the city of Prescott owns Freedom Park, and we work collaboratively with the Friends of Freedom Park, who keep the visitor center open. But under the 2007 agreement we have with them, we're ultimately responsible for all capital costs associated with the park, excluding the displays within the visitor center itself. In turn, then, the Friends of Freedom Park submits to us an annual plan or items that they would like to see in terms of maintenance needs, repairs, and improvements. Last year we replaced the conference room flooring. We made some of the stone wall repairs, which we're going to talk about the rest of the night. And then we did install an additional 5 trees to replace the ones that were taken down due to emerald ash borer that was there along the front of the park. So the Parks and Public Works Committee met last Monday, and we reviewed the list that was submitted by the Friends of Freedom Park. We came up with an action plan, which is before you in the table within your packet. Many of the items we're able to take care of this year in terms of things like adding the picnic tables and replacing the compost yard bin. Some of them that we're looking over the next 3 years, replacing the walkway signs next 3 years, replacing the viewing scope at the bluff line that's currently not working over the next 3 years. Inspect and then repaint the entry sign. It'd start to fade and chip in some places, so looking who we can have come out and replace that, and then update the security and automated door system within the building itself. And then long term, 5+ years, determine a plan of what we want to do with the amphitheater, specifically looking to get feedback from the Friends of Freedom Park on that. Ultimately, the committee, though, expressed support of moving forward with replacing the remaining stonework So we reached out to Luke Busker. Originally, he had submitted last year just under $30,000 worth of work, $30,270. He updated that cost due to some inflationary cost to $32,760. The committee discussed if we wanted to use the parks escrow budget line item. Ultimately, they wanted to move forward with the Parks Improvement Fund, so that would preserve our fund budget with for the parks. And within our Parks Improvement Fund, currently we have $104,083. So that is what's being proposed for you tonight, is that approval to replace the rest of the stonework. So this would mainly, the majority of the cost is for the pavilion stonework that needs to be fixed, but some of it is also for the portion of the visitor center that's facing the bluff line. So with that, I'll turn it over to council for comments and questions.
Motion to approve the stonework repairs at Freedom Park.
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion, and a second, to approve Resolution 10-26. Resolution to approve the stonework repairs at Freedom Park in the amount of $32,760. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not this, a roll call. Lindsay?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Maureen?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is ordinance 02-26, an ordinance amending 470-3 of the City of Prescott Municipal Code sewer connection fee. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. So there's a new minor subdivision that's being proposed at the corner of Walnut and Dexter Street. This is for 9 lots. Due to the elevation of the subdivision and the fact that it is only being 9 lots, the developer is proposing using grinder pumps to push essentially the waste up rather than having to do a full lift station where the city would have to, Public Works would have to take it and maintain it. Ultimately, that's the process and the plan that Public Works wanted to do, instead of having a whole very costly and maintenance heavy lift station. Ultimately, then the sewer laterals are at the maintenance costs of the homeowners when they put in their new homes in that subdivision, assuming it is approved. But a typical grinder station is estimated to cost at least $10,000. So one of the things that we discussed at the Parks and Public Works Committee was waiving the sewer connection fee. Currently, for a new home, the sewer connection fee is $2,156. So in order to look at accommodating those smaller residential developments when they are looking at lift stations, looking at in those rare opportunities via resolution, allowing the city the option to potentially waive those connection fees, as in the case of what's being proposed at Walnut Circle. So that is in your packet, the ordinance for that proposed change, ordinance 02-26. One other minor change within the ordinance: our previous sewer connection fee was based on a per unit. It was based on $4,750 across the board. So if you were building a single family home, it was going to be the exact same thing as a 60,000 square foot industrial building. So we changed that earlier on March 24th to 2025, changed that to a tiered system. So based on the meter size, so basically the more water you're using, the more sewage you'll use, and then in fact then that your fee will go up. So we ultimately changed that last year, but we need to change that within the sewer connection fee ordinance section. So that's what's before you. So I'll take comments or questions. Since it is ordinance, it is up to the council if they want to pass it tonight or if they want to move it to a second reading for the next meeting.
I know this is going to be a lot cheaper in the long run. The lift stations are thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It'd be easier just to give them $2,000 instead of coming up with that kind of money, let alone electricity, maintenance, and everything else. I'll make a motion to approve 02-26, the ordinance amending 470-3 of the City of Prescott's Municipal Code of Sewer Connection.
Okay, are we doing the first reading Are we doing the reading and waiving the second and third?
I would say waive the second and third.
I think we should not waive the second and third.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You might just do the first.
I think we should, I mean, we could waive it after the second, but I think it has to spend some time in front of the public. I don't know, I'm willing to not require it.
Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I'm fine with either.
Fine with which way?
With either. Let's go with Marines and just approve the first reading.
Okay.
Yeah, can we err on that side? We can do that.
Okay.
Second.
Somebody second that?
I'll second.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to approve the first reading of ordinance 02-26. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the next item on the agenda is Resolution 11-26, establishing and approving the City of Prescott Adopt a Tree Pilot Program. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. So as part of the 2026 budget, we allocated $5,000 to start a pilot Adopt a Tree program. Basically, as we just talked about in Freedom Park and throughout the city, we've taken out over 200 dead ash trees due to emerald ash borer. So although this isn't going to replace them all, the idea is to at least try it to see first how many people are interested, second to see what kind of workload it is for Public Works, and perhaps we can use this year then to judge if we want to expand it, pull it back, maybe stop, but this will be the first year. So that $5,000 will be used to purchase about 20 trees that will be planted by Public Works. The program will provide the purchase of the tree and the planting of the tree by the city, provide a water bag, and then provide a care brochure that we'll give to any residents that are interested. So we'll have a application process that will be on our website, that we'll put in our newsletter, and additionally on our Facebook page. People who are interested can then sign up that are within the city for a potential tree. We're going to have 5 options: red maple, sugar maple, honey locust, Japanese tree lilac, and a regal prince oak. We will be giving priority to those people who've had either a tree removed as part of our street replacement on Locust, Elm, and Washington, or that had a dead emerald ash tree removed. But ultimately, if we don't have that many numbers, it will be the first people that apply that would get priority after that listing. So with that, what we're asking for you tonight is approval to move forward with the plan and start advertising it. The trees would be expected to be planted this fall once we get them in from Bailey Nurseries. So let's turn over to the council for comments and questions.
Oh, I'm all for adopt a tree.
Do we know where we're getting the trees from?
Bailey Nurseries.
Should we call?
I think those are a nice choice of trees as well. I like the diversification so that they don't all die at the same time.
We're going to hope that they don't.
Yeah.
They are hardier trees.
Yeah, I know Luke put in a lot of effort to talk to them and discuss which ones they recommend and stuff.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 1126, establishing and approving the City of Prescott Adopt a Tree Pilot Program.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 11-26. Is there any discussion on the motion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next item on the agenda is approval of a repair forbearance agreement between the City of Prescott, Wisconsin, and Prescott Legacy LLC for 915 Canton Street, subject to minor modifications from the city attorney. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. So the property at 915 Canton Street has been in major disrepair. Additionally, there was a fire, and then we also found out through a court order that we had to obtain to inspect the property that there was an illegal residential unit within the property. since it is zoned industrial. As a result, we initially discussed moving forward with the raise order. We changed that to the option of the raise or repair order. That agreement has actually been finalized. It's in front of the mayor in his packet tonight, but the agreement in the packet is a draft. There was just some minor changes. One of the things was it said that the project could be delayed due to a change of contractor, which needed to be removed. Additionally, there was a change regarding, the removal of junk and just non-compliance and making sure that those items that are exterior storage are removed and the property is cleared up. So overall, just some minor changes. That is why the language in your agenda says with minor changes by the city attorney, but ultimately those were finalized today. So with that though, since the drafted agreement is before you, the language should still stay on the agenda for the approval, subject to those minor modifications. So with that, I'll turn it over to council for comments or questions.
Motion to approve the repair forbearance agreement between the City of Prescott and Prescott Legacy LLC for the property at 915 Canton Street.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve a repair forbearance agreement between the City of Prescott and Prescott Legacy LLC. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yep. Matt, I noticed it's 10 to 12 weeks to do the repairs, and that was agreeable to the people who own the property?
Yes.
Oh.
Although I should add one thing that, now that you're saying that, one of the things that's in the final agreement that's not before you, in talking with our building inspector, because the occupancy is changing from a residential unit to an office unit, it does require the State of Wisconsin Department of Public Services review that permit whenever there's a change of occupancy to a building of this size and industrial development. They have to change and review it. So there'd be about because the state of Wisconsin is about 6 to 8 weeks for review, so that would be added on top of that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion on the motion? Not all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next item is other business. Council workshop to discuss further planning of the wastewater treatment plant with Cedar Core set for March 4th at 5 o'clock. Any other business? Okay, we have a closed session. Closed session per Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public property, investing in public lands, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. To wit, discussion and consideration of brokerage agreements for the Prescott Business Park.
Make a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, to go into closed session. Mike?
Aye.
Maureen?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Lindsay?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you all for coming. You have to excuse yourself because we're having a closed session.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.